Good Monday morning, folks. Welcome back to the work week. It's about 7 o'clock here in the Bay Area of California, and I'm going to be heading east up and over the mountains and on towards the Rocky Mountain states as I start meandering my way over to Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Veterans Day Parade, which is where we're going to have our first real group meeting for the Rational Movement. And for those of you that have been following this along the way for the last, well, let's say since July, so the last few months here, we're really starting to kind of refine our focus and our purpose, as well as how we are communicating. So it is our intent as the Rational Movement that we are going to help to unite groups that are currently divided. And that seems like a massive undertaking to most people, because most people are so busy fighting over things that are nuanced and in some cases just flat out ridiculous, that they can't see the forest through the trees. And so as a group of very well trained and very intelligent veterans, we have seen what can happen in other countries when we go in and train rebellions against their government. And so, unlike the rebellions that we've trained in the past, this is going to be a peaceful revolution. This is going to be a revolution of taking back control of our government, and there does not need to be any violence or bloodshed. What needs to happen is the oligarchy masters that are currently manipulating our system are able to do so because of the two-party centralized government that is completely focused in DC. So as you head into elections this November 4th, tomorrow, number one, make sure you're aware of what there's actually on the table when you're voting. Number two, make sure you vote for the right person, not the right party, because party politics is one of the biggest problems that we see in this country. And most of us have been gone. We come home and we see just how dysfunctional the government is and how the media sends out these messages of manipulation and propaganda, and it's really hard to watch. It's really disheartening to see what's happening in this country and to see how they use these major events to distract the public from what's really going on. So over the last 120 years, the corporations have created more and more control, more and more of a slavery system. It's almost like an indentured servitude type of a program where the vast majority of the working class, and that means everybody from the people that are flipping burgers at McDonald's just trying to make ends meet, to the ones that are running mom and pop's companies that are still just trying to make ends meet, and everywhere in between. We see people making $200,000, $300,000 a year and still living paycheck to paycheck because their expenditures go up as their income goes up. And it doesn't make any sense to somebody making $10 an hour why somebody making $50 an hour is still broke. But the reality is, unless you're in the 1%, unless you're in that billions of dollars a year category, you're not much different than each other. Yes, we have different backgrounds. Yes, we have different cultures. Yes, we have differences all over the place. But this thing that combines us all, the thing that unites us all, is we are American citizens. We are the working class. We are the ones that have been paying taxes for all these years so that our government and our leaders can declare wars in areas that we have no business being in. According to our founding documents, we are not supposed to have a standing military. We are supposed to have a militia military, one that only comes together and reacts if we are attacked on our soil. Now, some would say that 9/11 was that kind of an attack, but the reality is our government knew that attack was coming, just like they knew Pearl Harbor was coming, just like they knew that we had no business in World War II, except for some message that was magically intercepted that was going to Mexico, that incited Texas and New Mexico and all of these other areas of the southern states to want to join a war. Because war is big business, people. War is money. And if you don't understand that, if you don't understand that the reason why we're in war right now, in an ongoing perpetual war in the Middle East and supporting countries in the Middle East, the reasons are very simple. It's profitable. And in this country, our leaders have put profit over people. People are considered a commodity. You and I are considered to be a resource to be used by these people to create revenue in order to keep this economy flowing. So the rational movement is not asking for your money. We're not asking for anything except for a few minutes of your time to help share our message with the world that we can unite, we can rally, we can come back, and we can take control of our government once again, as it was in the original foundations. Our country was on a great course until the centralized systems became overtaken by the financially independent. So if you look back into the 1890s, you can see a specific trend when the Industrial Revolution allowed for these financial masters and industrial revolutionary leaders to take control of our government. It happened in the first major way in 1896 in the McKinley election, that the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, and the Morgans purchased that man his presidency. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't a good president. I didn't know the man. I do know some of the policies that he stood for, and he seemed to do a pretty decent job overall. And that goes back to prove that I think that even in spite of being purchased, the presidency, people are generally good people. These people that are in the financial 1%, the ones that are actually making these decisions and that are doing these things, they're not doing it because they're evil bastards. They're not doing it because they want to destroy everyone. They're doing it because they're addicts. And as addicts, we need to stage an intervention. We need to take our government back. We need to hold them accountable for the sins and the crimes against humanity that they have done. And we need to make sure that they get the help that they need, because everyone on this planet is worth saving. According to all the teachings that the vast majority of the United States citizenry believe in, 75% being Christian, we as a nation need to help these people. We need to help them overcome their addiction before they destroy our entire country, because that's what they're doing. They are systematically and slowly over time destroying the land that we love. So as a collective, the 99% needs to put aside all of their biases around every other thing that we can argue over ad nauseum for days and days and days, and we need to decentralize our government so that these financial masters and wizards can't continue to control our government. The states have rights. The states have value, and the states should act as independent countries within the collective United States. There should be some core values. Yes, absolutely. There should be some core similarities. Yes, absolutely. We're all American. But each state should have the right to make its own rules and its own laws as its citizens would like. So what happens in California isn't going to work for people in Wyoming. What happens in Wyoming isn't going to work for people in Texas, and on and on and on. We have a core set of values where no human being should be left suffering and idle by the side of the road. That is a core tenement of the Christian faith, which, whether you want to admit it or not, is a basic part of the United States as a collective, because 75% of the population calls themselves Christian. So we should probably start acting like we're actually Christian, and we should probably start taking care of the needy and the homeless and the people that are downtrodden. And this argument about minimum wage, it's not about the wage, it's not about what they deserve, it's about what's right and what's fair. Nobody should be starving to death because they can't afford to feed their family because they're living on $7 an hour. And whether you like it or not, there are areas in this country where people can't get an education that would justify them being able to make more than $7 an hour. So who's responsible? Well, I ask you this. What would Jesus do? To you 75% of Americans that are Christian, what would Jesus do? Would he turn his back on people that happen to come from a different walk of life? Or would he reach out a hand and try to help them learn how to fish? And I think you know the answer, because you grew up Christian. So pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get over all your petty crap, join together in one movement to decentralize the power and control of this government, take away the government from these two-party corrupt systems that don't give a rat's ass about anybody but themselves and the oligarchy masters that they serve, and join a real movement of veterans that are trying to change this world for a better way in the future. So, good luck today. Have a great day at work, and I'll see you on the road. And don't forget to vote.